What's going on? VitalSyntax here, and this is some more gameplay from the Counter-Strike Global Offensive beta. It's playing on Dust, and I've been playing this game more and more and having a lot more fun with it now that I'm actually starting to get good. When I first started playing this game, I was absolutely horrible. I mean, I was lucky if I ever went positive, because this is really my first Counter-Strike game that I've put more than just a couple hours into. And I can tell that I've gotten a lot better than when I first started. And this is a good round that kind of demonstrates that I've improved at least somewhat. This is probably one of the best rounds I've had so far from playing this game. But anyway, I'm not going to talk about the gameplay in this. What I want to talk about is the perfect first-person shooter. I don't know if I saw a video on this recently or heard some people discussing it, but I don't know. I've been thinking about it over the past couple days about what elements I would include if I was, kind of creating the ultimate first-person shooter, the best first-person shooter. And I think the most important thing, and there's a lot of different aspects, but I think the first and foremost thing is that the gunplay is spot on. And I think a combination of something like Counter-Strike and something like Battlefield and something like Crisis 2 would be the perfect combination. And what I mean by that is I like when it takes a lot of bullets to kill. That way, basically the opposite of Call of Duty, because that way if you get shot in the back, you have time to turn around, and really it's not the person that wins a gunfight isn't the person who has a better connection and can get the first shot off. It's the person who has the best aim. And Call of Duty has a lot of problems with that because, number one, you kill people way too fast. I thought Black Ops did a better job of that, but still, you kill people way too fast. And I don't know what the game was glitching out there for a second. But another problem Call of Duty has, it has a flinch mechanic, meaning that when you get shot, your cursor goes off target, and you'll start missing some of your bullets. And this is a nice spree right here, I thought. Boom. Boom. And then one more. Get him. Haha. That felt like it. I accomplished something. But another problem that Call of Duty has with gunplay is the flinch mechanic, because when you get shot, whoever gets the first shot off, the other person is going to be shooting into the air or above you or whatever. And Battlefield has that problem too, with suppression. I hate suppression. I absolutely hate it. It's my least favorite part or my most hated part of Battlefield. It removes the skill. It doesn't completely remove it, but it starts to remove some of the gunfighting skill, because whoever shoots first and can suppress the enemy player, or whoever's missing really, is going to suppress the other player, and it's going to make them not be able to aim properly. So I think there definitely needs to be no type of flinch mechanic or suppression mechanic. It's stupid. At least for gunplay that's not trying to be super realistic. I understand that some people like it because I guess it makes it somewhat realistic, or definitely makes it more realistic. If you get shot, yeah, you're not gonna be able to shoot very easily back. But I think it ruins the gun skill part of a first-person shooter. This is not a simulator; it is a game. And the reason I brought up Crisis is because I think Crisis has a really, really, really good gunplay system. It takes a lot of bullets to kill, there's no flinch mechanic, and headshots are key. And also, it takes a lot of bullets to kill. And I know a lot of people didn't like Crisis 2. It was personally one of my favorite first-person shooters of all time. I know it copied a lot of, it basically, copied Call of Duty a lot, but the gunplay was so spot on because I could be getting shot in the back and just whip around, and as long as the other player wasn't very good, or I was just lucky, I could get a couple headshots on him and take him out. He got the first shots on me, but I was able to whip around and shoot him in the head because I had better gun skills. And whenever I go head-on-head with somebody, and if the person has better gun skills, they're always going to get those headshots and get the kill. Counter-Strike's another perfect example of this, because Counter-Strike's all about the headshots. It's all about controlling the recoil. There's no flinch mechanic. So I think Counter-Strike has almost perfect gunplay, if not perfect gunplay. You know, I personally like being able to aim down sights, and it doesn't aiming down ADS doesn't fit in Counter-Strike. I think Counter-Strike is totally fine how it is, but I personally, if I was making the perfect game, would have some type of ADS feature. And then also, I think another huge component of a first-person shooter is the RPG element that Call of Duty 4 first introduced. It doesn't have to necessarily be perks that change the way the game plays, but definitely weapons, attachments, and customization. You need to have a ton of weapons to unlock throughout the game, and I think Battlefield did a really good job with this, although a lot of the unlocks are just attachments. And I mean, who cares about unlocking a silencer on a shotgun, or unlocking, you know, an 8x scope on a shotgun? A lot of those attachments are kind of goofy that nobody really ever wants to try and unlock. But I think that the game needs to have enough unlocks that when you're playing the game for 100, 200, or even 300 hours, there's still weapons and stuff for you to unlock. It shouldn't all just be like random crappy flashlight for this, and for a gun you never ever use. It's really abstract. And there also needs to be a lot of customization. Everything from your gun to your character. So being able to change the way your character looks, what clothing he's wearing, even if that doesn't affect the gameplay, I think it's always fun just to kind of have a unique look and feel. And then also weapon customization, you know, attachments, camouflages, being able to even change like really specific things about guns, like the barrel, the muzzle, the stock, all that stuff. If you have control over everything, I think that would be really cool. And then other than those two, you really need to have a lot of variety. And there's a couple different ways that I think games bring variety. Like Battlefield brings a lot of variety in the sense that it has vehicles. And I think that kind of adds another layer on top of the game. So I think vehicles are always a good addition as well. As long as you have, you know, some game modes that don't have them for the people that don't like them. Or don't want to play with them, you know, just because they want to be gun on gun, which is totally fine. But you need a lot of variety in other things too, like, you know, what type of maps you're playing in. Large maps, close quarters maps, more sniper friendly maps, and also game modes. You need to have a lot of different game modes that you can cycle through. So things like simple basic team deathmatch, or like a one-man life thing like Counter-Strike, where you've got, you know, to plant a bomb or rescue terrorists, things like that. A gun game type of game is always cool as well. I like that they added that to Battlefield 3 recently. But even more than that, like, I mean, it's really hard to think of a new game mode. I mean, obviously, when games come out today, it's usually team deathmatch, a free-for-all, and like a conquest or a domination type of thing with flag points. That's almost always what you see on just generic first-person shooters. And I know it's probably pretty hard to come up with an original idea for a game mode that is actually a good idea. But I think that's pretty important, that you need to introduce new gameplay, new stuff that people haven't seen before, on top of also polishing what everybody else has already done by, you know, tweaking the gameplay so that it's perfect. And graphics are also, I guess, see, the thing about graphics is the graphics are the first thing that you see when you play a game, or even before you play the game. Actually, when you're watching trailers, or when you're watching a YouTube video of somebody showing you their first impressions of a beta or something, first thing you see is the graphics. And I don't think the graphics are that important to the actual game, to the fun factor of the game. Really, it's all about the gunplay and the skill ceiling, and just the gameplay. Really, that's what it comes down to. But the first thing that people see is the graphics. So the graphics really have to be good to attract people in the first place to even try the game. And I think there's really two different routes for good graphics. You can go the kind of cartoony route, like Borderlands does, or like Counter-Strike does, or like Team Fortress does. I think that's good graphics. It's artistic. It's shell shading or whatever, and it's not, you know, that intensive. So you could maybe play it on a console or on a lower end PC, which is always a good idea to have it available to everybody. I personally would prefer, you know, stunning graphics like Battlefield or Crysis or something. And after talking about all this, the game that I think could possibly meet my expectations, and this is once again it's a very, I don't want to get my hopes up, but at the same time I'm kind of hopeful that it's going to come true, is Medal of Honor. If you guys have seen the trailers for that, I think that it looks amazing. It's a lot like Battlefield, especially now that it's running on the exact same game engine. I think it's going to feel almost exactly like Battlefield, which is really good because Battlefield 3 is almost perfect as far as gunplay goes. But the thing I'm not really a fan of in Battlefield is just how slow the game can be on some of the larger maps. Sure, those Conquest 64-man games are really fun to play with friends and stuff like that, but just on like an everyday playthrough of a game, I don't really enjoy that too much. I like the more fast-paced Call of Duty style. Don't get me wrong, I don't like Call of Duty. I just like that gameplay. That's why I like playing, something a little bit faster paced like Counter-Strike or Team Deathmatch in Battlefield, if that makes sense. It might not at all, but whatever. And the previous Medal of Honor game I had a lot of fun with, Medal of Honor 2010. And I think one of the reasons is it's basically Battlefield, but smaller maps, faster gameplay, and it also has a kill streak system, which they're calling support actions, which I also really like because it rewards better players. It makes the distance between a crappy player and a good player a lot bigger, which could be a bad thing, could be a good thing, but for somebody like me that's a good player or above average player, it's good because it makes the game even funner to, get higher and higher scores because you've got these support actions to help you out. So anyway, I'm really excited for Medal of Honor Warfighter, I guess just to call it. Let me know what you guys think about that game that's coming up, and also what the perfect first-person shooter would be. And thanks for checking out the video. If you enjoyed it, feel free to give me a like or a favorite, and I'll see you next video.